Back in 2020, I was driving for Uber to make ends meet after getting laid off from my retail job. One Friday night in October, around midnight, I dropped someone off near the edge of town. My app pinged immediately with a new ride request, about 6 minutes away, in front of a small bowling alley attached to a strip mall. The name on the ride was Derek. I accepted it, thinking it would be a typical late-night fare. When I arrived, the parking lot was almost deserted, just a few dim lights flickering. The bowling alley was dark and closed. A tall man, maybe 6'2", wearing a gray hoodie and jeans, stood alone under one of the lights. His hands were in his pockets, head down like he was staring at his shoes. When I pulled up, he glanced at me but didn't wave or move. "You Derek?" I asked. He nodded slowly and got into the back seat. The app said the destination was a residential neighborhood about 20 minutes away. I asked him if that was correct. In a quiet, flat voice, he said, "Yeah, that's right." There was something off. He wasn't drunk or high, just strangely emotionless. As I drove, he didn't speak for the first few minutes. Whenever I glanced in the rearview mirror, he was staring straight ahead, not at the window, not at a phone, just at the back of my head. I tried to start a conversation. "How's your night going?" "Just needed to get out of there," he said. "Out of where?" "Doesn't matter." The neighborhood got more isolated. Trees lined the street, no street lights, yards overgrown. When we neared the destination, he suddenly said, "Actually, can you pull into that driveway?" He pointed at a dark, abandoned-looking house. Paint was peeling, the lawn was overgrown, no car in the driveway. I hesitated but drove in. He didn't get out immediately. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Wait here," he said, walking around to the side of the house and disappearing. 2 minutes passed. My gut told me this wasn't normal. I ended the trip manually and tried to back out. Before I could, he came running back toward the car, hands empty but with a wild expression. I unlocked the doors reluctantly. "Take me to the other place," he demanded. I insisted. "You need to enter it in the app." He didn't respond. I started driving back toward the strip mall, tense, feeling his gaze on me the entire time. When we returned, he leaned forward and asked, "Ever wonder how you're gonna die?" I froze. He got out without closing the door, standing half in and half out. Then he said, "You picked the wrong guy up tonight," and walked off into the darkness. The next day, Uber had no record of the ride, no name, no profile picture, no trip history, but I know what I saw. In 2021, I was driving full-time in a tourist-heavy city. One Saturday night around 1:30 a.m., I accepted a ride from someone named Chris. The pickup pin was in a strange backlot near an old strip mall, away from bars and apartments. I pulled up and saw a man in a hoodie staring at his phone. Chris got in silently, no smell of alcohol, no words. We drove 25 minutes to a suburban neighborhood. It was dark, isolated, some areas without streetlights. About 5 minutes in, I noticed his phone out, flashlight on, beam directed slightly upward toward my seat. I asked, half joking, "Everything okay back there?" "Yeah," he mumbled, turning it off. 20 minutes of tense silence passed. He didn't talk, barely blinked, just sat in the back, exuding this unsettling energy, like he wasn't really present. When we arrived at the house, it was completely dark. No porch lights, nothing inside. "Is this it?" I asked. No response. He just stared past me out the window. I repeated myself. Finally, he nodded. I parked. "Have a good night," I said. He didn't move. I asked again, "Are you good?" Finally, he got out, leaving the car door wide open, standing silently, facing the house. Seconds dragged into a full minute. I was about to speak when he turned, looked at me, and whispered, "I need to go back." "Back where?" "Where you picked me up." His tone was flat, emotionless. I explained he needed to request a new ride. He begged, "Please, I need to go back." Then came the chill-inducing part. "I can't. They're not gone yet." I asked, "Who's not gone?" No answer. He just stood there, breathing heavily. My instincts screamed danger. Slowly, he backed away, closed the door, and walked to the house. I waited, then drove away, locking the doors, unsure if I'd just escaped a catastrophe. I'm an 18-year-old living alone with my dog, about 8 miles outside town. One Friday evening, I ordered Uber Eats while cleaning for my long-distance boyfriend's weekend visit. Delivery instructions: leave at my door. When I got the notification, I ran to grab it, but it wasn't there. Then my neighbor knocked. "I grabbed your food," he said. "The driver was peeking through your windows." I shrugged it off and ate, but later, around 2 a.m., my dog started growling at the window. Moments later, I heard banging. My small Morkie barked, growled, whined. I hid under the covers, barely breathing, called 911, and whispered that someone was in the backyard. Looking out, I saw the Uber driver's white Honda Fit parked across the field beside my apartment. No one was in the car. My mind raced. He was in my backyard. Police arrived. Officers discovered muddy footprints in the rain-soaked grass. My neighbor confirmed what happened earlier with the food. Despite the chaos, I decided to stay in my apartment, shaking, terrified. Then at 2 a.m., the banging returned, this time on my front door. I froze, scared to move. The officer I had spoken with earlier reassured me they were nearby. Later, the police caught him trying to approach my apartment again. I was left trembling, unable to sleep, and haven't used Uber Eats alone since.